Zach took so long to make it to this recording, I was seething. He waited all morning, afternoon, and evening. But alas, we can play the Grinch, and I am joyous. And afterward, we might play some Among Us. That didn't even rhyme, and I don't give a fuck. Alright. So, welcome back to Keeping BZ, the podcast-like show where Zach and I... we show each other a game in a show-and-tell-like format and discuss some podcast topics. And today, I decided to look at the PS1 version of the Grinch. I used to own this on the Sega Dreamcast, where I 100%ed it. I liked it that much, so I figured I'll just fool around in the PS1 version, because I haven't tried that version yet. I mean, they're pretty much all the same. And we'll get right into it here. We're going to the second area, the Who Forest. I've already cleared out the first area. I wanted to, like we do with a lot of our videos, I just wanted to get a little bit later into the game. Yeah, this game is basically Mario 64, but instead of collecting power stars, you're just checking off a checklist of being assholes to people.
Hey, I enjoyed Untitled Goose Game when it let me be an asshole to people. Plus, I think it makes sense for a Grinch game.
Yeah. All right, here's our checklist. Here's our Postal 2 checklist. We have to make Xmas trees droop. We have to sabotage snow cannons with glue. Putting beehives in cabins. Let's see. Slimming the mayor's skis. Sliming the mayor's skis. Replacing the candles on the cake with fireworks and smashing all the gifts, of course. Yeah, he's not collecting the gifts and stealing them in this version. He is just flat out just crushing them with his ass.
He's got the gut for it.
Yep. And Max the dog is here. We can switch to him if we want. He'll let us like crawl into smaller areas. And we collect blueprints that for some reason the Who's have a hold of. And every single blueprint you collect adds up to eventually you being able to build a new gadget that either will have like tangential effects on helping you navigate the environments, or they'll be like mandatory things that only certain presidents you can get to by using those. Okay, look at chimney, but we need some beehives, I would guess. Yeah, looks like it.
I assume this is based on the Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah, this came out around the era of the Jim Carrey movie. Now, this game doesn't necessarily fully adapt the Jim Carrey version. It's kind of like its own kind of weird hodgepodge between the old 60s cartoon and its own thing. Okay, to collect that? There we go. Oh, that's right. I need to pick up the beehive and then drop it in the chimney quick. So yeah, it combines multiple things. Like the Grinch in this version doesn't necessarily sound like Jim Carrey. He's kind of his own thing. Also, whenever you fully complete an objective, it'll literally do like a Crash Bandicoot, or what do you want to call it? Like the victory dance whenever you complete an objective, and he'll say, "Got Grinched."
Oh my gosh, is that a flamethrower?
Oh, the Who's don't fuck around about Christmas, Zach. They know this motherfucker's coming to screw up their Christmas, and they're not going to put up with any bullshit. Ah! Now you see why he's against Christmas! They're murderers.
I'm against Christmas because I work at a grocery store.
Oh yeah, well that's fair. Like, you think some version would make the Grinch a retail worker, and it would just all click.
It's a better excuse than the one they gave him in the Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah, I actually, before we were recording this, Zach, I watched like up to a half hour of the 2018 Illumination version, and that shows a little bit, I don't know if there's more flashbacks, but it showed a flashback of his backstory in that one, and it's just kind of like, he was an orphan, had no parents, and he was sad because nobody would invite him in to celebrate Christmas with him because he didn't have a family to celebrate Christmas with, so he was sad, and that's about it. But I'm just like, yeah, he's a child out on the streets. Why didn't anybody just, like, let him come in and let him celebrate Christmas? Like, to me, it just felt arbitrary. It didn't feel like I actually really believed in what this movie was telling me. Like, at least with the Jim Carrey version, I sort of get what they're going for, but both versions to me give such weak and unnecessary explanations for why he's the Grinch that I kind of just prefer the version from the 60s where he's just a Grinch. For some reason, this guy hates Christmas, and that's all we have to know for the story.
Yeah, I've always... So many movies, when they take a short story and then expand on it... What the hell?
What the hell is that?
I was about to ask the same question. So many movies often feel like they need to give a backstory to everything, and I feel like a lot of times we just don't need it. We don't need a reason for the Grinch to hate Christmas. Why can't he just hate Christmas?
Yeah. There's plenty of reasons to hate Christmas. We can just assume that he has one of those reasons.
He could just be a grumpy person. He doesn't need a tragic backstory.
Right. He's one of those characters that as I get older, I kind of sympathize with them more. Because, oh, these people are so happy. I must ruin their happiness. That just makes me I feel so relatable to that. I don't know. I think it's a similar vibe to like why adults identify with Squidward and kids identify with SpongeBob.
Oh, even as a kid, I identify with Squidward.
How did you turn around on these things again?
I'm surprised the Grinch can do this.
Oh, so can I. But whatever reason, he's very acrobatic. Ah, hell.
I guess you would have to be in order to climb up to roofs and steal Christmas presents.
And you also have to defeat some Who's in the area because they'll drop a present. You know, I mean, it's Mario 64, but it's also very much a Spyro as well, because you're trying to check off the list, and you have the big book of that big Atlas book that Spyro has to click off things from.
Are you checking the list twice?
Well, no, because that's something Santa Claus would do.
No,
okay. Basically, Zach, you could say the Grinch is the American Krampus.
I don't know too much about Krampus himself, but yeah, I can see that. From what little information I have.
Though I guess Krampus doesn't end with the Krampus being like, you know, actually I was wrong. Let's just all celebrate Christmas together and be friends. Instead, nah, I mean, let's just say bad things happen to the family at the end of Krampus. Because they didn't come together enough on the holidays, so now they must suffer. Access card required. What kind of fucking technology did the Who's have? So yeah, I've only seen 30 minutes of the 2018 one now. But of course, I saw the Jim Carrey movie when it came out, and I, of course, like many people growing up in the U.S. especially, I saw the original Chuck Jones 60s cartoon many, many times on TV as a kid, and I always enjoyed it.
Yes, so have I. It's good. I wouldn't call it one of my favorite Christmas specials as a kid, but yeah, it's a good one. Stood the test of time for a reason.
Because it's such a simple story. Just do not be a Grinch. Don't be a Squidward.
Remember, no one wants to be a Squidward. No one wants to be a rabbit either.
Oh, that's true. The Grinch gets replaced like Rayman, and the games just become about Max. Because he's more marketable. I remember what people... I don't know what you've heard about the 2018 one, Zach, but I heard what people didn't like about that one, some didn't, is that they just thought the Grinch was way too nice in it. They made him just kind of, kind of a prick, but not really that mean of a dude, and people kind of prefer it when he is more of a irredeemable character, so that way it makes sense when he has to be redeemed.
Honestly, I haven't really heard much about the 2018 version.
Okay, I need a couple more parts to fill out my rocket spring gadget. Sometimes you'll find multiple different parts in different areas of Whoville. Like, I spent the first part of the game just, like, in the downtown area, where your objectives are to, like, paint mustaches on all of the mayor's posters, deface his statue, shoot rotten eggs into a bunch of the Who's houses, and my favorite one, probably so far in the game, which is just to, like, shuffle people's mail. You just walk up to, like, you go into the post office, you go into the back of the post office and just, like, shuffle a few people's mailboxes, and it's just like, sorry, Alec, that PS5's gonna take another week to ship.
God damn it.
That's right. That's right. The reason why your PS5 took a week to ship, Zach, was because of the Grinch.
Well, it's technically not mine. Alec paid for all of it.
Oh, I see.
But, damn it, I have to tell him that. Is the Grinch also the one who punched a hole in Alec's TV when he first got one?
Yes.
And it wasn't even the holidays during that time either. What a dick.
No. Okay. What? God, what an obnoxious sound. I do want to kill this man. You can Grinch breathe on him, and it like knocks a lot of people out.
What time period would you say the Who's live in? Because it seems old-timey, but then they also have almost kind of futuristic-looking gadgets. Futuristic by 1960 standards, anyway.
Right, like, mainly this was a thing in the Jim Carrey movie, where they gave them all, like, future tech. But yeah, it's definitely a thing where the only way I could describe it is a futuristic society that decided to put all of their innovations behind Christmas technology. So, Ultra Christmas.
Do you think they live in a theocracy?
How do you mean?
Like, do you think they live in a Christmas theocracy? Instead of, they don't live in a democratic society or Republican society. They're just, their whole town is ruled over by Christmas tradition.
It does seem that way, that it is like some sort of religion to them, that is just what they base every single year around. Like, you know, I'd be interested to see Whoville when it's not December. Like, what are they doing on, like, you know, like Veterans Day or whatever? Like, what are the Who's doing other times of the year? But I guess now, like, the whole point is they are just Christmas people. Because he does have a ledge grab, but that's too far up. So maybe we do need to get the rocket. Because I don't know how the hell to take care of this thing and why he's bothering with eating these beehives. I can imagine a kid being terrified of that thing. There's another one of them up there. They're all getting near my beehives.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how you would deal with them.
Because gadget-wise, we have my rotten egg launcher here. And that's about it so far. I mean, the thing that I thought was really cool about this game and why I 100%ed it is that by the time you get near the end of the game, the gadget you get is just literally like Inspector Gadget's helicopter on his head. And then you can just like fly over the entire game world. And I honestly found it to be an incredibly efficient and fun way to just wrap up the rest of the game and knock off all the 100%s. And you do get a 100% award in this game. Basically, in the Grinch's lair, there's like a bunch of doors with numbers on them that unlock as you destroy that amount of presents. And they're usually just like mini games. Sometimes they'll be like multiplayer kind of things, but that's kind of what they are. I like how long he just sat there, like he just felt defeated for a second. Interesting. Because I know when I remember when playing this, I did have to use a walkthrough here and there just because of how you kind of needed to go back in between the different areas of Whoville to unlock different gadgets and uncover different areas. I don't think there's anything I can really send Max into right now. So maybe we'll just go back to the town and I can sort of show it off. Yeah, you don't get to unlock the next area until you do at least a couple of the Grinch's objectives. You don't have to do all of them to complete the game. You just have to do some.
Okay, yeah, that's usually how a collectathon goes.
Yeah, no, I think this is a pretty decently designed game for the most part. I think it controls pretty well. And it's just I mean, it really is the IP and the idea that sells it and the presentation put into those ideas. Where it is just, you're playing as this guy who his whole mission is just to make people feel like shit on Christmas. And I'm like, hell yeah. That's my collectathon.
I could get behind that. Yeah, I think this game does look nice. I think just the only thing I don't like this version of the Grinch. I don't like how this one looks.
The way he looks. Yeah, because you see they're doing that bit of, Come on. Breathe on him. Yeah, get the hell out of here. Yeah, because they have that bit of grayness around his face because they're trying to capture kind of the look of the Jim Carrey makeup. But in the PS1 model, yeah, it just looks kind of odd.
Yeah, I don't like how the face looks. Like, it looks hairless compared to the rest of his extremely hairy body.
Right.
Not to mention, he has a massive beer belly.
Yep. Which just seems to be a thing in most versions. Like, he also has it in the 2018 one as well.
I'm trying to remember if he has one in the original version. He might. I remember him being skinnier, but I could be wrong about that.
Possibly. I mean, his shape definitely was similar in that version. And he was also not green in the original, like, book. He was, like, gray.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there wasn't much color to the book. They painted him green, like, later. Okay. Modify the Christmas clock. But I also have one objective I can complete here, which is to throw rotten eggs into all the windows. But I think I have most of them. Yeah, there's that one. Spewing out rotten egg gas.
Okay, yeah, from what I'm looking up on images, he has kind of a gut.
Zach, are you typing in, like, Google Images, or are you typing in the Grinch on, like, DeviantArt?
No, I looked it up on DuckDuckGo.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's actually probably a lot better than Google Images, too.
I don't want that in my search history. Well, all I did was just type
Nope.
Grinch 1966.
And it's just like the Grinch at Woodstock.
Grinch, execute order, 1966.
Yes. Okay. Yes, and that's when, yeah, the Grinch executed that, and then they went around just killing all the Who's. Where the hell? Oh, if you're hearing that tinkling, that's this thing over here playing Christmas music. That's the thing over there playing Christmas music, and if you get close to it, it actually does damage to the Grinch.
Oh no, he gets affected by Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Yes. If he hears Christmas music, it actually damages his health.
He really is a retail worker.
Yeah. Yeah, you got your branded retail worker giant rotten egg launcher.
I wish.
Can I destroy this with rotten egg launcher? I don't think so. Nope. Oh, I can. Good.
So earlier I mentioned Rabbit, which not the Rayman Raving Rabbits. I meant Winnie the Pooh Rabbit, who when I was watching the original Many Adventures with Alec, I joked and called him the original Squidward. And it kind of makes me think about how a lot of the more cynical characters are usually treated in kids media or just media in general. And like I kind of get it, you know, they're the party pooper, the curmudgeon. And, you know, we really shouldn't be cynical, but I don't know. Something about it always rubbed me the wrong way, even as a kid. Like, Squidward just wants to live his life, and SpongeBob keeps annoying the shit out of him. Why is he the one getting punished?
I mean, Pooh is constantly just ruining Rabbit's day.
Yeah!
He's just trying to get something done, and Pooh keeps sticking his fat ass in his window.
Yeah. In many adventures, Pooh just comes into Rabbit's house, eats all of his honey, with not really any permission, and then just gets stuck in his house for a month or something.
Yep.
Not to mention all the times Tigger ruins Rabbit's garden. Like, he's just trying to work. He's trying to feed them. No wonder why blood and honey happens.
Yep, it's true. Blood and honey is totally justified and should have existed. I'm happy Zach, of all people, has now promoted Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey.
No.
And also its sequel, Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, which will then lead into the Poohniverse.
No.
Monsters Assemble, which will be a crossover Avengers film of all of the Winnie the Pooh and other Disney horror parody characters. So, yeah, get ready, guys.
No.
It's coming.
I do not condone it.
I don't know, Zach. The Pinocchio one's I've actually seen people excited about the Pinocchio horror film.
I feel like you could totally do one with Pinocchio.
Well, they actually are showing off a very articulate animatronic puppet they built for Pinocchio for that movie, which actually did look quite impressive from when I showed them like in their workshop, kind of like testing how it moves.
I mean, FNAF had pretty cool bodysuits, and that movie still sucked.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say FNAF sucked. I think FNAF was okay. It was okay.
Yeah, sucked is a little hyperbolic, but yeah. I don't think it's nearly as good as a lot of people mentioned it at the time.
No, I mean, I think for fans, it was a relief because it was very accurate to what they wanted. And the visuals of it did. I mean, the production value of that movie is great. The animatronics do look very nice. I mean, it's, you know, I believe it's the Jim Henson people. And then it was also just the fact of, the acting choices and all that. Like, but it did not have enough in it to warrant a 2-hour movie. And also, it just wasn't particularly scary, but it also can't be because we're supposed to like Freddy and his gang, and we're not supposed to hate them. They're supposed to be the characters we're going to be following for an entire film series. So they can't have them be super mean, but they also have to be killers, and it's just like, I'm trying to figure out what the goal is here, because yes, it's obviously supposed to be aimed at kids, because that's the target audience that has latched onto it, but at the same time, it's all supposed to be a horror film, right? And I don't think the movie threads that middle ground very well. I just kind of find it an ineffectual horror movie that ends up just being kind of dull. Like, the plot just takes forever to go anywhere, and when it does, I was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, that's something I found very weird about the FNAF series, as an outsider looking in, because I haven't played any of the games. And let's be fair, most FNAF fans haven't either.
Sure, yeah.
But it does seem to be like you're supposed to like them, but they also kill people, and there is always that sort of dissonance. Because, you know, they're the ones that the merchandise is made off of, so you gotta like them, but then if they aren't killing you, then they aren't doing the thing they're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
It's weird.
But because I get it, Zach. I mean, this isn't anything new. I mean, think about like back in the 80s when kids were super into Freddy and Jason.
Yeah, I was actually about to bring them up. Except, I would say for liking Freddy and Jason, you kind of get it. Like, they're not ever really made to be likable, from what I can guess. Especially not Freddy.
Well, of course not. Yeah, he's a child murderer.
But, you know, like, you still kind of get into him for... Again, I haven't seen any of the Nightmare movies. They're too scary. But at least from what I've heard of people talking about them, his powers are interesting, and his wisecracking also makes him stand out, especially from Jason, who's just very silent.
Yeah. There's some Friday the 13th movies I like, but I guess I'm a little cynical or controversial in the sense that I'm not that big of a Friday the 13th fan. I think a lot of them are just not particularly very good movies, and the ones I do like are like 4 and 6 and like 10, where they take themselves. Well, I mean, 4 is genuinely not a bad film and it has some pretty good characters in it, but like 6 it's more just doesn't take itself seriously anymore, which is why I find it enjoyable. And 10 as well, because 10's the one that takes place in space. And it goes hard into Jason using like futuristic type weapons to kill people, which I thought was cute. Or when he gets stuck inside a virtual Camp Crystal Lake in a part of the movie, and then he just kills virtual virgins.
Yeah.
It's a goofy way of just playing off of this series that clearly has gone on way too long. But I find most of those movies to be fairly underwhelming. While I feel like I can enjoy most of the Elm Street films in comparison, even some of the weaker ones.
I also do just find it weird that of all the things to be mostly focused, like, because mascots have always been everywhere, but it's so weird that there's now specifically a genre about horror characters that are mascots of their franchise. I mean, I guess you could say in a bizarre way, Freddy, quote-unquote, Freddy is a quote-unquote mascot of his.
Sure.
But it is bizarre that there's enough that mascot horror is an entire genre, and not only that, but there is a lot of them.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There's been so much. It's weird for us to talk about horror when it's over the Grinch, but I guess Christmas is horrible.
Grinch was actually in a Halloween special. It was called...
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's like... I forget what the name of it was, but Dr. Seuss himself actually wrote that special, and it actually won awards when it came out. I've always wanted to see it. Yeah, here's some of the cave. Why would something be blocking the door from the inside if it's its own goddamn lair?
Maybe he has a bunch of nerd merchandise in the way.
Possibly.
Although I don't see the Grinch being a gamer or a weeb. I see him being a troll online.
Okay, yes, that does make sense. There is a lot of Grinches online that just want to ruin people's fun. Actually, I would imagine that even though he is the only one of his kind in his universe, I imagine in the real world, I mean, the Grinch is just an entire subsect of people. I mean, most people that use Twitter are probably actually the Grinch, like, or part of the species of Grinch.
They almost even rhyme. Twitch, Grinch. It's not a complete rhyme, but it's close enough.
No. Let's see. If I knock him down, if I breathe on the tree, will that destroy it?
Oh,
there we go. It's ruined. Suffer. I just find the music surprisingly and very enjoyable in this game. It's more jaunty than you would expect. It's a little more upbeat, and it has a very memorable main theme that's remixed multiple different times throughout the different levels. I especially like when you get to the Who junkyard. And like they do like a slightly kind of techno version of the Grinch theme. And I kind of dug it.
You're busting it down, Mr. Grinch.
Oh God, speaking of that, when I first tried watching the 2018 Illumination Grinch film, and it begins with a Grinch, a remix of the original Grinch song, but it's like a hip-hop rap, I wanted to die. I do enjoy some rap, but that composition sounded terrible. To me, it just doesn't fit the aesthetic of the character, like, at all. It just feels bizarre.
Grinch does strike me as the kind of person who would call rap crap.
Seven? Okay, so just 3 more trees to destroy. Yeah, I can't imagine there's much music the Grinch likes. In the 2018 film, he plays a giant pipe organ. And in the Jim Carrey version, they play up more like the gross-out comedy, like him having bugs in his teeth and crap. Oh, wow, that's not doing anything, that guy. You really do have to breathe on him.
Wow, this guy's so toxic, he's immune to rotten eggs.
But he loves Christmas, so that makes him good. See? The Grinch is the true hero. The problems are systemic.
I was actually thinking about saying it. I wasn't sure if I should, but fuck it. The Who's really are a representation of white privilege. All their shit gets stolen and they have no food to eat.
Yeah.
And they just come out singing.
Yeah, because they still have joy in their hearts, the joy of Christmas, because they have the opportunity, the privilege to celebrate it, but not the Grinch.
They're in such a good economy, they could just buy more.
It's true. And you see, you remember at the end, like the Grinch destroys their Christmas tree, but they just build like a newer and better one. Like, the Grinch could just target the mayor. I mean, he's the one kind of pushing the big Christmas celebration stuff, which, to be fair, the public is as well, but but the Grinch knows he can't just take out the mayor to, destabilize what's really the problem here. He has to take everything to the people. He has to work from the inside out.
The Grinch is a revolutionary.
Yeah. He's an anarchist. So I need to find more Christmas trees. Though we are coming up on about 35 minutes, so we'll probably be done soon. I wish I made more progress, but I at least gave a pretty good idea of what this game's atmosphere is like. That's kind of what I wanted to push here. I just wish, I was able to throw more beehives down people's chimneys, but then a horrible, disgusting monster that looks terrifying popped out, and now I can't do anything. Wait. Unless... What if I stealth it? No, he still sticks around. Okay.
I assume they've got to despawn at some point.
You would think.
Oh, I think it's bearing... Oh, no, never mind.
Okay, I gotta remember how to turn while swinging on these devices.
My brain immediately assumes triangle, and I don't know why.
No. I think it was 2 buttons. Come on.
Oh, that's weird.
Come on. Because I know, like, in The Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, you hit a button while you're swinging to switch. Let's see. Because I'm going to have to switch around in the air if I want to get over this. Anything in options to tell me anything? No, of course not, because it's a licensed game. Let's see. Yeah, the Who Lake, where there's like it go like I really appreciate the soundtrack because the Who Lake goes for like it's more of like a Whoville Boy Scout camp, and so it has like a nice little banjo remix of the theme with like campfire sounds. And then yeah, like the dump goes more for like a darker techno kind of sound. I really like the soundtrack of this game. Let's see. No. I know it gave the tutorial when I first did it, but coming up blank. Let's see. Come on, Grinch. You can do this.
Oh, I know the real reason why Bram wanted to do this. It's because Jim Carrey's in it, and Jim Carrey's going to be in Sonic movie 3.
There we go. It was Triangle, Zach. I just had to hit it at a specific time.
Okay.
It's true. Jim Carrey is going to have a new role coming out where he's very much going to be doing a lot of the same shtick he did in movies like The Grinch. There we go. Got all those presents.
Did I hear right that Sonic 3 is going to be his last movie role, or was that complete bullshit?
He said the same thing about Sonic 2.
Okay.
So, who knows? Jim Carrey was quoted as saying for Sonic 3, because he plays both Robotnik and Gerald, that he was like, well, I think it's really... I thought playing two Robotniks sounded like a really fun idea, but then I realized I don't get paid twice as much for it. So I was like, okay. Also, there's rumors circulating that Sonic 3 has 6 after-credit scenes.
6?
Apparently? They might be just sprinkled in during the credits, I imagine, not like afterwards, but that's the rumor circulating that there's a ton of different after-credit scenes, which might be all complete bullshit. But, we'll have to see.
I can't believe I just now realize he leaves footprints in the snow. That's nice.
No, yeah, like you said earlier, Zach, this is not a bad-looking game at all for the system. It definitely has, like, a specific aesthetic it's trying to do. There's decent art design, even if Grinch himself looks a little strange. Let's see, any idle animations?
I don't think I can really blame the developers for how bad the Grinch looks. They probably did have to base it off the Jim Carrey version.
I mean, that's the thing when you're making a licensed IP game. It goes a couple different ways. It's either you base it off of the source material of it, where even though the movie's out, you may do the book, especially if you don't have the chance to actually get concept art and materials from the people making the movie. Or you do just like a straight translation of the film, which we've seen many times, where they just try to adapt the films scene by scene, but sprinkle in excuses for gameplay to happen. Oh. He just doesn't like... Wow, I didn't realize it was going to be that easy for that thing. He just doesn't like the Grinch's breath.
How long do you think people in the comments were screaming that? Oh, we don't get comments. Actually, no, yeah, we do.
We get comments sometimes, probably since the beginning of the video, I'd imagine. Like, even before we started doing it, they were already angry.
You want to know who was writing that comment? The Grinch?
Yeah, probably. He knows the proper breathing on eldritch monstrosities technique. But I need a roof that I can actually get on in order to do this. Okay, there's one. Okay. And when it drops a present, you know that thing's not coming back. Because you got the collectible off it.
Wow, even those Eldritch Abominations get presents. Not even the Grinch gets them.
Nope.
No wonder why he hates the Who's. What are those numbers that are popping? I assume, like, you've done it twice.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
you have to do it a certain amount of times in order to get each mission done. So there's going to be, of course, 10. There's usually a 10 or 5 is the number. Or it'll be like a specific objective that's more difficult to do, but you only have to do it once.
The thing I'm confused of is that every time you break a present, it says 3 or 5.
So, weirdly enough, they're Spyro gems. Different color presents account for different amounts of presents.
Oh, okay.
So, like, red ones are 1 and purple ones are, like, 10. That sort of thing. Not sure why. They could have just had every one of them be 1, but I guess it makes the number seem bigger for how much you're collecting.
Maybe there's just 10 toys and 1 present?
Possibly. I mean, yeah, many times people will package presents in one big one. What's the Christmas present you feel like? What's your favorite Christmas present you've received, Zach? You would say.
My first thought goes to Bully for people. Well, actually, toss up between Bully and Kingdom Hearts.
Ooh, yeah, that would be a good Christmas present.
But I'd have to think on it a bit more. I got the Fantastic Four on Christmas from my dad. But actually...
Oh, the video game?
No, the movie. And now that I think about it, I got it twice. My mom and dad both got me the Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, interesting. So did you enjoy it twice as much?
I did like the Fantastic Four movie growing up.
I mean, back in the day, I thought that first one was totally fine. I liked some of the stuff they did with the characters, like the relationship that Ben Grimm the Thing has with that girl he has a crush on. That isn't she like blind or something?
Yeah, because I've played the Fantastic Four PS2 game as well. That was an okay beat 'em up.
I've heard that. I've considered giving it a shot. Everything I've been seeing about the MCU Fantastic Four coming up does seem decent. Pedro Pascal's playing Mr. Fantastic. He played Joel in the Last of Us show. He was in Game of Thrones. Very, very well-renowned actor. He had like a one-episode cameo on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He actually was in an episode you've already seen, Zach.
Which episode was that?
He didn't have his mustache because he was like really young in that episode. He was one of his first acting gigs. It's like the first episode of season 4 when Buffy first comes to college. He's the guy that she saves, or at least, or no. It's not so much she saves. It's just like a dude she meets.
Oh, is he the one that gets eaten by the vampires?
Yeah, the guy that's like super nice to her, and then he ends up getting eaten. That's Pedro Pascal.
That's Pedro Pascal?
Yeah.
Oh
he
my
was
God.
really young back then, Zach. Yeah, I mean, that's Buffy. That was 20 years ago. So he's now somebody's dad, or in fact, Ellie's dad. He's the murdering father of a soon-to-be mass murderer.
I'm excited to see what they do with season 2.
Yeah, I don't even know what they're gonna do, because Last of Us Part 2 is, I mean, there's a lot of critics that gave it 10 out of 10s, and of course, hashtag gamers think it's the worst video game ever made. I, who just enjoyed it on its own merits, think it's somewhere like in the middle, where I liked a lot. There's some really amazing sequences in it, and there's some really excellent bits of story in there. The game goes on way too fucking long. It's like, what was it, like 38 hours I think it took me to finally cap off that goddamn thing. Wait, no, maybe it's close to 32. Either way, it's way too long for the type of action gameplay that the Last of Us games make up. And on top of that, the story had made its point like 10 hours before it ends. It's just, man, it's so flawed. I don't regret going through that experience, but I do think it should have been cut down immensely and had some other changes made to it. I don't really care about a lot of the twists and turns in the story that people get super pissed about, like the most obvious thing that happens towards the beginning. It's just, yeah. It's more that I think the show could do a hell of a lot to improve upon its flaws. But considering how well renowned Part 2 is for a lot of people, I don't know if they're actually going to change as much as we hope they will.
Oh, real quick, I answered your question. So what was your favorite Christmas present?
Oh, gosh. No, I guess that was more of a birthday one. I mean, like you, Zach. Well, I mean, this was like in high school. I mean, you got Kingdom Hearts when you were still like the year it launched. I got a hand-me-down PS2 from my uncle when we were in high school, and I got KH with that. So that was a good experience, but in terms of what was the best, sheesh. Because there were definitely times where, you know, I would think, oh, well, that's way too much. Like, they would never get that. And then they ended up getting it. And I was like, whoa, you guys really didn't have to do that. I'm trying to think what some of those examples would be.
Oh, okay, actually, sorry. I wouldn't change my answer because you talking about how much it was reminded me. I can't believe I even forgot about this. I think my favorite Christmas gift is a laptop. It was a Windows Vista one. So it wasn't great. But I mean, it was my first very own laptop. It was cool to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, either way, it's a laptop. I mean, you know, at least you got a Vista instead of like entirely different, more obscure software that you wouldn't necessarily know yourself.
That's true.
Something more straightforward like a Windows.
That's true. Yeah, like that laptop had a bad habit of overheating and turning off all the time. To be fair,
that
the
sounds
way
like a laptop.
What I would set it on probably wasn't helping either. To be fair, I was really shitty with computers. I am surprised I haven't downloaded more viruses or accidentally gotten my grandma's credit card stolen with how bad I was on the internet.
So I should say that when this was like probably close to like 15 to 20. No, this was closer to 20 years ago. My family's like business had all these, at the time when we still had it, had all these like display computers set up all throughout the building that were just, you know, made to show our customers how good our internet is and allowing you just to browse and check it out and seeing if you want the internet for yourself. Because I had to hang around that office all the time because my parents worked there. At one point, well, not at one point, but over time, I used one of those computers and downloaded 200 different Sonic the Hedgehog fan games on it.
That is, I think that's the most Brandon thing I've ever heard.
And I put 200, and then when my uncle found out about that, he was not happy.
How did you even have time to download 200 Sonic fan games? Like, was this high-speed internet, or...?
This is how often I ended up just sitting around the office my folks work in with nothing to do.
Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I thought you somehow did it in one sitting. I am so dumb.
Oh, no, not in one day, yeah. But yes, I made an infinite amount of them. And again, just got all the Sonic fan games I could scoop up. Some of those I don't think even work on modern computers anymore.
Also, isn't it crazy that we can say 20 years ago, but we still would have been
Yeah.
10?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sometimes still baffled when I talk to people and realize they were born, like, after 9/11. And they're like,
Yeah.
you know, 20? And I'm like, oh, right, because they would be. Like, that thing that we never think is going to catch... I mean, it caught up with our parents, but it's never going to catch up with us. That, yeah, this is who we are now. That we were born when Disney's Aladdin came out. And we mostly are, you know, we mostly, like, know kids now that were born when, like, the remakes of things are coming out.
Which one do you think they'll be more nostalgic for? The live-action remakes or the original animated? Because we'd like to think originally animated, but... I mean, there are people nowadays that are nostalgic for Sonic 06.
Yeah, because I mean, Zach, you'll find people nostalgic for every Sonic game under the sun. Because Sonic is such a fractured franchise that every kid has grown up with some Sonic game and just has attached themselves to it.
Oh, it's not even just a Sonic thing, just anything. I bet you could find people that are nostalgic for Bubsy on the PS1. Or even the 16-bit Bubsy games. There's got to be someone out there.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people, I mean, people that grew up in the Super Nintendo era, they have to have played at least one of those, like, knockoff Sonic the Hedgehog games. When every developer is trying to make their own furry mascot. They should have just used the Grinch.
I feel nostalgic for Hook on Super Nintendo, so I guess I can't make fun too much.
No, I mean, I used to go into my elementary school friend's basement, and we would hook up a Super Nintendo and just play, like, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Secret of Mana.
I wish Secret of Mana held up better.
I still haven't really played it that much. I think we only played, like, the opening when I saw it. I would be interested to give the game a shot on my own and see if I can get anything out of it. But yes, everything I've heard about Secret of Mana and how it's co-op, actually, like, that's the thing that people always promoted the game for. It's an RPG that's co-op, but I've heard, like, the actual battle system does not hold up super well.
It's okay, it's just when enemies start spamming spells, there's no way to dodge them. You would think if an enemy casts fire, it would just be a fireball on screen and you can just move out of the way. No, if an enemy casts fire, the game stops and you just take the fire.
Man.
And sometimes sometimes if you want to win a fight, you just kind of have to hope that you have enough healing items to out-heal all of their spells and that they don't spend the spells very often.
Right.
Alec and I, we were super nostalgic for Secret of Mana, so we kept trying to play it, and then the last time we tried to play it, we just said, no, we can't try anymore. We stopped at the wall boss. So we
might need a gadget or something to pull that down. Yeah, because I can't just knock it down with the egg launcher. Even this one-room clock tower has its own musical theme with, like, a clock sound to it. It's pretty good, too.
Man, I didn't know we could talk about the Grinch for almost an hour.
Especially when I've made no progress in this game! I've just been wandering around doing nothing.
That's okay, the Game Grumps have over 1 million subscribers doing this exact thing.
Oh yeah, making 100 parts out of making no progress in anything. It's true. It's true, because people aren't even paying attention to the game most of the time. Including them. Don't get why those mosquito enemies are even there. They're just irritating. Trying to find one more window to close things out. But it seems that might not be possible. It's probably one of those cases where it's a place high up that I can't even see from the ground with my egg launcher. Can I breathe on the Who Christmas tree and ruin it? No, of course not. The spirit of Christmas keeps it alive.
Maybe it's the final boss.
Just the spirit of... Oh, yeah, the tree. Yeah, just lights up and tries to kill you and spins around like a Kingdom Hearts boss.
The real final boss should be, you see all the Who's holding hands around the tree, and it's supposed to be the part where the Grinch's heart grows, but instead you just get one final assignment to just breathe on all of the Who's. Just get rid of all of them for good.
Yeah, literally, it's like a lot of movie-based games where they put like a goofy alternate ending in there just to have something new. Because like in the King Kong game, you can actually get an alternate ending where if you're able to smash all of the planes trying to shoot King Kong, you get an alternate ending where they take him back to the island and he lives a happy life.
That's cool.
That game has a lot of detail put into it, which is why I love it a lot. But
I think you've wanted to do that for Keeping BZ, but it never works.
The PC versions are glitchy and unwieldy as hell because they were designed for computers from 15 years ago. So I guess we'll end things by going into the mayor's office here because this actually has one of my favorite tracks in the game. Poor Grinch. You can't just break into the mayor's office when it's closed.
Now that I think, but I'm surprised the Grinch doesn't have more lines as you do things.
He does when you complete objectives for like the first time, and then yeah, he's mostly quiet. Now yes, when characters talk in this game, it's always in rhymes. And the narration is always in rhymes. Like, when you're doing all the tutorial stuff at the beginning, teaching you all of the game's mechanics, they are all entirely in rhymes. Which vary in their quality, as you might expect. But it's another one of those, like, totally, like, decent licensed games for the era that actually did try.
Licensed games get a bad rap, and yeah, it is a total crapshoot if one will be good, but I think there's more good ones than people usually bring up. Yeah.
Like, especially when we look back, like, even if they're not great, there's still more effort put in than we expect, because many times, this is the game that the small-time developers are working on. They're not working on the biggest game ever. They're kind of shoveled into the tie-in game mines. So they have to put all their effort in here and try to make something that then they can work on their own creative projects they really want to attach to. So yes, I can breathe my Grinch breath here, and it shows you where the lasers are for the mayor's security system around his statue.
That's amazing.
But I need sculpting tools in order to deface the statue, and I have not been able to locate them yet. They might be in another area of Whoville that I haven't unlocked. It's been years since I actually played this game, but despite what it seems like, yeah, I did totally 100% this thing.
So, if there's a Whoville, is there also a Whatville and an I don't knowville?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know if Brandon knows what I'm referencing.
Probably not.
I'm referencing who's on first.
Oh. I mean, yeah, maybe.
Because I'm like, man, there is a who's on first joke in this with Whoville.
I found the sculpting tools. We can end this part by defacing the mayor's statue.
Yes, progress!
Let's get that motherfucking statue. All right. I have to make very specific jumps here. This is tough. Let's see. Line it up just right. There we go. And then get this one. There we go. Turn off the security system.
That was too easy.
Then modify the mayor's statue.
Time for a facelift, Mr. Mayor.
With where the sculpting tool is on the chest, it looks like he's gonna give a nip.
You're a Grinch.
Okay, he gave him a skirt and a cowboy hat and I think a mirror?
I think it's supposed to be a lollipop.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. I think it is supposed to be a lollipop.
My first thought was magnifying glass, but then I realized the way he was holding it made it look more like a lollipop.
And yes, he did his classic catchphrase, "You've been Grinched," which he says many times throughout this game.
Hey! Out of here!
Well, I wanted to get kicked out anyway, so fuck you.
You just helped me achieve a speed run.
And I think that'll do it. If you have interest in this game, I would recommend playing this game. Just maybe have a walkthrough next to you if you get stuck trying to figure out where the next thing is. It's worth it, though. This is a decent licensed platformer, and if you've already played the best that the PS1 has to offer, or of that era in general, like if you already played Rayman 2, you already played Mario 64, and Spyro and Crash and all that, maybe give the Grinch a shot. It's alright. Well, we might have some other holiday-themed ones this month. We'll just have to see how we're feeling as it gets deeper in. But we hope that you have a happy holidays if you don't hear from us until next year.